My daughter has become a degenerate after finding a goth boyfriend and slapped Maine in front of him to try to assert dominance. I never expected this. I thought I had raised my daughter, Emily, well. Sure, she had her moments, like any teenager, but she was always respectful, always kind until she met him. His name is Damien, and he's nothing like the boys I ever imagined her dating. He showed up one day with her after school, all in black spiked leather jacket, ripped jeans, dark eyeliner. At first, I didn't judge. People go through phases, and goth isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just clothes, I thought. But it wasn't just clothes. The changes started subtly. Emily dyed her hair black, then began wearing thick eyeliner, and eventually she stopped talking to me altogether. Conversations that used to be about school, her friends, or even her favorite shows turned into icy silence or snarky one-liners. I couldn't pinpoint when it started exactly, but Damien's influence became increasingly clear. Every time he came over, he and Emily would shut themselves away in her room, the door firmly locked. I tried to give her space. I remember what it was like to be a teenager, but something in my gut told me this wasn't normal teenage rebellion. I could hear them laughing, whispering, and sometimes, well, it sounded like more than that. I didn't want to think about it, didn't want to assume, but the signs were there. The late nights, the smirks, the intimacy they seemed to share in their body language. I suspected they were more than just hanging out, but what could I do? A few weeks ago, everything escalated. I had asked Emily to help with dinner, as I do every evening. It wasn't a big ask, just a simple task to help out around the house. But this time, she looked at me as if I was something beneath her, a nuisance in her world. "No, I don't feel like it," she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "Excuse me," I responded, trying to keep my cool. I said, "I don't feel like it. Why should I listen to you?" Her words cut deeper than I thought they could. And Damien, he was sitting on the couch, watching the whole thing unfold like it was some kind of twisted show for his amusement. His smirk infuriated me. "Because I'm your mother," I said firmly. "And this is my house, that's when it happened." She stood up, walked right over to me, and slapped me. It wasn't a hard slap, but the shock of it nearly knocked me back. She did it right in front of him, her face full of defiance. I stood there, stunned, not knowing what to say, while Damien chuckled in the background like he was proud of her. "I don't need to respect you just because you're my mom," she spat. "Damien says respect is earned, and you haven't earned anything." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own daughter, who I raised and cared for, was now taking life lessons from a boy she had known for all of a few months. I wanted to scream, wanted to throw Damien out of the house and shake Emily until she realized what she was doing, but instead, I walked away. I spent that night in my room, trying to make sense of it all. How did we get here? Was it my fault? Had I not given her enough attention? Or was this all because of Damien's influence? The next few days were tense. Emily barely spoke to me unless it was to make some cutting remark about how controlling I was. She and Damien would still hang out, and I could hear them late at night from her room, talking in hushed tones. Sometimes I wondered if they were trying to make me uncomfortable on purpose, trying to push boundaries as far as they could. I knew they were physically involved, even if I didn't want to face it. But how could I bring it up without pushing her further away? Then, one afternoon, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted her. I knocked on her door, which was locked, as usual. And after several minutes, she finally opened it, her expression bored and irritated. "We need to talk," I said. "About what?" she replied, crossing her arms. "About this. About everything. I don't know who you've become, but this isn't you. This isn't the Emily I raised." She rolled her eyes. "Maybe the Emily you raised is gone. Maybe this is the real me. No. This is the version of you that's being influenced by someone who doesn't care about you. Someone who... Damien cares about me more than you ever did," she shouted. "He understands me. He doesn't try to control me like you do." I felt my heart sink. "Emily, he's using you to rebel against me. He's encouraging you to push me away, to disrespect me. That's not love." She glared at me, silent for a moment, before saying, "I'm done talking to you," and just like that, she slammed the door in my face. I haven't spoken to her much since then. She still comes home, but it feels like she's a stranger in my house. I know this can't go on forever, but I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to set firmer boundaries, to forbid her from seeing Damien, but another part of me knows that will only drive her further into his arms. I just want my daughter back. Like the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Seriously, guys, I see you all watching, but most of you aren't subscribing. Help a parent out, hit that subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories like this. Thanks for the support.